Hey guys, welcome back to Dick and Dora's van life. In this video we're going to be changing this into this. So the idea is to create a sofa bed so that Dad can sleep comfortably. So we started off by going to the storage unit to get a few parts of the van that we took out a while back. So as you can see, we've got loads of stuff in there, so we had to empty out a bit to get to the parts that we needed. This part here, so this was part of the office unit that was in the van when we bought it, that we took out a while ago, and now we're going to be reusing to make the sofa bed, and some extra bits of paneling that we whacked in the van, and we drove back to our usual spot where we can work. And when we got back to our normal spot, we saw this thing on the floor. We're like, that's not from us, is it? And yes, it was. But we'll save that for another video. So we started off by measuring out where we wanted to cut, as we wanted it to be seat height, so it was a nice comfortable sofa. Next, get out all the tools, get the grinder on so that everything's ready so we can start working. We realised that the bin was almost the perfect height to not only sit on with the cushions, but also it was a nice convenient place to store the bin in there. So we used the bin as a template and measured out all around the old worktop to cut it down to size so that it would be nice and comfy for sitting. And once all the measurements were done, it was time for cutting. It was a slow process, but we got there in the end. Just had to grind it out, no pun intended, and get through those metal corners. And then cut through the rest of the wood to get it all nice and in line. Of course, when we cut through all the sides, the structure became a lot more fragile and a lot more weak, so we had to be careful. But when it was all cut down and to the right size, we offered it back up to see what it would look like. Bin fits in there really nicely. And we had these excess
brackets that should be perfect for this job if we get the right height.
Again, using the bin as a template.
So the idea is that it's much prettier.
That's good. Like that.
So
and screwing in the old brackets, making use of all the excess things that we'd taken out previously.
We're just going to get this lamp.
Now that's nice and strong. Pulled out the countertop and see if it fit nicely, which it seemed to do well. And it supported Dad as well. So we tried putting the foam out to see what it was like, if it was too high or too low, or if it needed tweaking.
Oh, that's much better. Try it yourself.
And it felt all good. So next thing we had to do was attach the cabinet to the floor, which luckily we had these T-brackets that we could cut down to size to screw in the bottom of the office unit and into the floor, which we knew would make it nice and strong to support our weight when we're sitting on it and won't start moving about when we're driving around.
So now we can get maybe the side or something.
Once all those cuts were made, gave Dad the camera for a while. And Dad, being Dad, the old fart that he is, didn't realise that he was filming himself. And he was filming himself for at least 6 to 10 minutes. Oh, Dad, you silly sausage. It's old man syndrome, that is.
Sorry.
Not because I'm old people with technology.
Yeah. I literally just saw it with my chest.
So we went nice and slowly, making sure all the brackets were screwed in nice.
Feet first towards whichever way you want. I was thinking the other way.
And you could feel as soon as it got screwed into the floor, it was so much more strong and sturdy now that it was screwed in. Next thing, we had to cut this last little bit off, which was the smallest bit in the project, but seemed to last forever. To fit the bin in, this had to be taken off. But eventually we got it off and screwed down. And just tidied up as the metal had bent out of shape a little bit. And sanded it down. so that it was all nice.
Right.
The bin fit in lovely.
It fits great in there. That's a really good thing. Bob actually.
So the last thing to do was to just screw down this worktop so that it was all nice and secure, lined up.
That's beautiful. That's lovely.
In from the bottom bracket. I believe that is mission accomplished. So we packed away all of our tools. I swept up because we are still living in the van, so I had to make sure it was nice and clean. And ta-da! I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one where we saw the other side so that it can turn into a fully functional sofa bed. Don't forget to like and subscribe.